Everyone, in this video we're going to be talking about the skills of Perek Bais and the shirashim, the prefixes, the suffixes, all the works. So we're going to go through every prefix, and we're going to talk about different words that match that prefix, and then we're going to put them to use, and we're going to translate words based on that. So let me show you how that works. So we have the first one we're going to go with is Vav Yud. Vav Yud means and he. So let's go for a list of words that from our Perek that start with Vav Yud. Vayelech, and he went. The first word of our Perek. Vayikach, and he took. Vayigdal, and he grew. Vayetze, and he went out. Vayar, and he saw. Vayifen, and he turned. Vayach, and he hit. Vayitmenehu, and he hid him. Vayimer, and he said. Vayivrach, and he fled. Vayeshev, and he sat. Vayael, and he agreed. Vayitain, and he gave. Vayamas, and he died. Vayar, and he saw. Yishma, Vayavakesh, and he asked. Vayakam, and he got up. Vayishian, and he saved them. Vayashk, and he gave to drink. Vayikra, and he called. Vayiskar, and he remembered. Vayeda, and he knew. There's sometimes when a Vav Yud means and it, not and he. How do we know this? We see this from the context. So an example of this. Vayehi is a word that can mean and he or and it. So let's see how it means and he was. Vayehi la libain. Moshe was like an adopted son of Basia. So, and he was. We see this from the context. Vayehi bayayim hasheni. On the second day, Moshe comes out and he sees two Jewish people fighting each other. Vayehi, and it was on the second day, not and he was on the second day. So we see that from the context. There's some words that start with a Vav Yud, but they mean and they. If the word starts with a Vav Yud, but ends with a Vav at the end. Vayavayu, and they came. Vayanchu, and they sighed. Vayazaku, and they cried out. So we have a lot of Vav Tufs in this Perek. Vatahar, and she became pregnant. Vateled, and she gave birth. Vatera, and she saw. Vatitzbenehu, and she hid him. Vatikach, and she took. Vatachmira, and she smeared. Vatasem, and she put. Vatesatzav, and she stood. Vatered, and she came down. Vatera, and she saw. Vatishlach, and she sent. Vatiftach, and she opened. Vaterehu, and she saw him. Vataimer, and she said. Vatelach, and she went. Vatikra, and she called. Vatikacheha, and she took it. And she had pity. Vatimikehu, and she nursed him. Vativiehu, and she brought him. Vatikra, and she called. Then we have the second half of the Perek, where we talk about the plural daughters of Yisrael. So, in order to make something plural, we add like a kamatz hey in the end. We have a vav taf, but we have to look at the suffix to help us see that it means they. Vatavaina, and they came. Vatidlena, and they drew. Vatimalena, and they filled. Vatavaina, and they came. Vataimarna, and they said. For each of these, I want you to see if you can look in the Perek and find some more. Kamathe at the end of the word can tell us that it means she. Yachla is a word that means she could. Why does it mean she could? Because there's a kamathe at the end, but there's no tuf in the beginning. So how does it mean she? If there's a kamathe at the end, but there's nothing in the beginning, it always means she. If there's a kamatz hey at the end, but there's a tuf in the beginning, then it means they. So you got to look at the prefixes and the suffixes in order to get the full picture. Sometimes there can be a female it. So a kamatz hey at the end can sometimes tell us it, not she. Some examples of this. Vatachmira, and she molded it. And she molded tar and clay around the basket. It's things that we're talking about. It's not people. Vatikacheha, and she took it. Basia stretched out her hand or sent her maidservant and got the basket. There was Moshe inside, but she had to get the basket in order to get Moshe. What we're going to do is actually a suffix. So it's a hu at the end of a word. Vatitzbenehu, and she hid him. Hu means him at the end. Vatirehu, and she saw him. Vatinikehu, and she nursed him. Mishisihu, I drew him out. Vayitmenehu, and he hid him. I'm going to go for a mem at the beginning of a word. Mem at the beginning of a word means from. Meirachik, from far. Now, a hey in the beginning of a word. So hey in the beginning of a word means one of two things. Either it means the. So here's some examples of the. Ha'isha, the woman. Hasuf, the reeds. Hayeled, the child. Ha'yar, the Nile. Ha'alma, the girl. Ha'ivrim is the Jewish men. Ha'ivriyais is the Jewish woman. Ha'mitzri, the Egyptian. Hadavar, the thing. Hatzain, the sheep. Ha'ish, the man. Arabim, the many. Ha'abaida, the work. Hey in the beginning of a word also can mean a question. How do you know this? You know this from the context. You read the rest of the pasuk and you say, oh, this hey means a question. So we have two words in our parak that are like that. Ha'elich, should I go? The other one is halahargeni. Do you to kill me? Halargeni ata aimer, that's the full phrase. Do you say to kill me? Halargeni ata aimer? That's a question. We have some more words with a beis, that means in or with. So let's see them. Bachaimer, with clay. Ubazafes, and with tar, because the vav is the and. Still. Basuf, in the reeds. And there we have it, a video of some of the basic skills of Perek Bais. Eventually we'll learn more and build on those skills in the next prakim as we go along. So make sure to have down these skills and we'll work and focus on them even more. And in Meretz Hashem, we'll learn lots and lots of new skills and we'll be able to build our vocabulary too and translate and learn Chumash on our own.